Good evening. My name is Michelle, and today I'll be informing you all on how China got rich. Okay. As we're all probably aware, the United States is $38 trillion in debt to China. That is $38,000 billion. You can also see it as 38 million dollars. To understand how we got in this situation, we must understand a little bit about the history of China. Okay. Um, Okay. When you go into most stores, the items on it say made in China. That's the easy way to identify. It's an easy way to identify it, as you'll see a logo that says made in China or a tag mark on the clothing. So we can begin by getting into the history of China. They transformed its economy into a market socialist economy by allowing Americans to purchase items that they make at a low cost, which over time allowed China to grow. This created the export world factory that spiked its gross domestic products while also growing its technological system and diplomatic influence. I found this at weforum.org by Kaiser Kuo, and I retrieved it on April 13th of 2026. Okay. The advancement of growth started in the 70s. By 1980 to 2015, China grew by 9%. China was willing to be patient and make and sell goods to the American economy, which helped allow them to advance in 2026. To be sure, the growth of the private sectors, as well as wage and price liberalization, it was critical for foreign investments to take place, which is why we see so much of China's things that they make in China in our stores. Okay. Over that one. Okay. All right. This policy took a policy in reform and opening took place, started in the Mao era. And then it was further precedented by Xiaoping in order to stabilize its economic growth. Mao set the stage for Xiaoping to establish economic security. This can be found at weforum.org as well by Kaiser Kuo. The rise of China's economy transformed global capitalism by the 2010s. China not only made cheap manufactured goods, but they also made technology such as cars, phones, and solar panels at a cheaper price for Americans to buy, which also increased their GDP. So was a good option to follow in order to grow the Chinese economy. However, it created a higher production of carbon dioxide in the air because they built more factories in China. So they burn half of the world's coal. And as of 2023, China is building 400% more coal power than they were in 2019. And you can find this at tni.org. And that article was written by Sean Kenji Stars. And it was retrieved on April 13th of 2026. Okay, thank you. Are there any questions?
Michelle, Kiara has a question.
Okay. Okay, do I have to click on her?
Just say Kiara.
Hello.
When she speaks, it'll start.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine, Kiara.
Can you hear me good?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How do you think society in the United States would be affected if China did not succeed in their mass productions?
That's a great question, Kiara. I think China, the economy. You said, how do I think the American economy would be affected if China didn't mass produce?
Yes, ma'am, because I noticed like during your presentation you mentioned how most of the items we have do say made in China.
Yeah. I think it would be less things on the shelf for the shelves, or we would go to another country to produce those items. So yeah, that's what I think would happen.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Lily,
Hi. Just want to say great presentation. It's definitely a topic I wouldn't have researched on my own. So it's really interesting to hear. In your conclusion side, you had something written in the text about, it was just a statement. Instead of arguing who will become the next global superpower, we should work together to create global peace or something along those lines. What is one way that you think we could go about making that happen? Good starting point.
That's a good question as well, Lily. Instead of arguing about who's going to be the next superpower, we should focus on the fact that they did it successfully. I think in order for that to take place, then we need people who actually care about humanity itself instead of the profiting from it. Yeah, and do things that will benefit humanity, because there are routes that we could take that will benefit humanity more than the routes that we are taking. So that would mean the people will have to elect people who aren't bought and paid for, so they can make the changes for the people instead of the people who are buying them out. So that's what my take would be.
Thank you.
You're welcome.